Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the fifth week training program on Microsoft Excel for beginners. I'm Senthil Kumar, and in this week, we'll be covering some interesting topics on charts and visualization in Microsoft Excel. Before we start our session, just a reminder that this is the fifth and the final session of our training program done exclusively for Nirmala Women's College, Coimbatore. I have added 4 new assignments and 1 multiple choice exam for you to take up this week. So if you navigate to the course section at developerpublish.com, you would see totally 8 assignments and 1 multiple choice questions or multiple choice exam that is available for you to take it up. You would have already completed the first 4 assignments, so for this week it's going to be another 4 assignments and 1 multiple choice exam. So you will need to submit at least 6 assignments out of the 8 assignments and pass the multiple choice examination before next Monday. So once this is done, you will be provided with the certificates from your college. Note that you can retake the multiple choice exam as many times as possible in case if you have failed for the first time, so you'll be able to retake and get certified yourself. So without wasting much time, let's get started with the charts and visualization in Microsoft Excel. So what exactly is a chart? Right? A chart is basically a tool in Excel that showcases your data graphically. Microsoft Excel provides different types of charts format to exhibit exhibit your data in a very creative format. There are different types of charts available in Excel, and some of these includes bar chart, column chart, pie chart, line, area, scatter chart, and so on. So it helps you to know the variations and relationship between data in a more visualized format. It also helps you in understanding the meaning behind the numeric data. So how do you create a simple chart in Microsoft Excel? So let's get started. So I have launched Microsoft Excel on my desktop. Although it's like a desktop version, you could try the same thing on the online version of Microsoft Excel as well, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do in the chart in this particular Excel sheet is start defining the data for my chart. So for example, I would put in something called a name, and I would also start defining I have a column called name. I would also have a column called subject, and I will have another column called marks. And for each of the column, I'll start defining the rows, specifying the values for each row. For example, I could have a name Senthil and start defining subjects. For example, the subjects could be Excel. I would define 75 marks out of 100, and the same person Senthil has got probably Microsoft Word as another subject, and probably a marks of 65, 67, and a third row being defined with the name Senthil with a different topic. In this case, it's PowerPoint as a subject, and I would give the marks as say 45, right? So now I've provided the data for my within my Excel worksheet. All that I need to do is now start defining what kind of chart that I need to implement for my simple chart example in this case. So now to do that, to create a chart is pretty simple and straightforward in Microsoft Excel. So since I have already defined the range of data, all that I'll be doing is selecting the range of records or the range of cells within my Excel. And once I select the range of cell, the next step that I need to do is navigate to the insert tab. You'll find it on the ribbon. Navigate to the insert tab, and in the insert tab you should see the charts group. The charts group basically has a list of predefined charts that you can use within your Excel. So one could be whether you wanted to use a line or area chart, or whether you wanted to go and then use a bar or a column chart, or you also wanted to use, for example, a pivot chart, or a waterfall, funnel, stock surface, or a radar chart. There are plenty of charts that Microsoft Excel supports for you to start using them, right? So one of the easiest option for us to implement a chart is go and then choose a recommended chart option, right? For example, if I select the range of cells where for which I need to display a chart, I just go and then click on the recommended charts option. And what the recommended charts option does is the Microsoft Excel would automatically recommend what kind of chart that Excel feels it's easier to showcase your data, right? So if I click on recommended chart, it gives me the list of options now, because there are multiple options for the recommended charts here, which Excel recommends for you based on the data that you have selected and the format of data that you have selected. In this case, one of the simple examples of selecting one of the recommended charts would be to choose, for example, the clustered bar or a clustered column. So in this case, I've just chosen clustered column just for an example of demonstrating a simple chart here, right? And what exactly is a clustered column chart? So the definition of the clustered column chart is it is used to compare values across a few categories. You generally use it when you want the order of the categories is not important at all. You just wanted to display what each and every column or a values represent, and it's almost similar to your bar chart, but in a way it's slightly different. So when I click on OK, you will see the chart being displayed automatically here. Yeah, and when you look at the chart, it kind of represents a bar chart, but in this case what it has done is the sequence is completely different. And if you also notice that what Microsoft Excel has done is it has automatically chosen the name and subject to be more like a legend, and it has gone ahead and then chosen marks to be the one that needs to be plotted for your chart as well. It's a very simple and easy way for you to implement this chart here. So the chart represents quite a visualized way of representing the data for you, right? So it's pretty easy and simple and straightforward. Like I mentioned, the recommended charts option in the charts group helps you to identify the suitable type of chart for the selected range of data there, right? And so imagine that you have defined this particular chart now, and you might have a scenario where, hey, I don't want this chart now, I need some other type of chart, right? Maybe you want a pie chart or a bar chart or a scattered chart kind of thing. So if you need to change it to a different kind of chart, Excel allows you to do that pretty easily. So if you see the same charts design tab there on the top Excel ribbon, you will see there is a group called type, where you see change chart type there, right? So all that you do is just click on the change chart type, so which provides a list of all the other charts that Excel supports. For example, it starts with column chart, line chart, pie chart, bar chart, and so on, right? And if you feel that you need to change the chart type to some other type of chart, for example, in this case say a pie chart, for example, right? And you could go and then pretty much select the pie chart and just click on OK. So when you do that, the entire chart, what previously we used a different chart, right, that got changed now, because we have gone ahead and then chosen pie chart to be plotted on my Excel sheet rather than the one that I have chosen previously. So changing the plot type or the chart type would be like pretty easy and straightforward, again with just a click of a button, as long as you have the you have selected the range of the rows and columns which contains the data, and the chart can actually go and then render that particular data for you, right? So the some of the other options that you've got within the charts include, for example, if you just mouse over on one of the chart styles here, right? When I click on the chart styles, you would see a list of various default styling being provided by Microsoft Excel. One option is just clicking on that style button right next to the chart. The other option to go and then change the chart style is on the Excel ribbon. If you go to the Excel ribbon on the chart design, on the top section, you will also notice that there are already predefined set of chart styles available for you. And when I click on the drop down, I can or the scroll bar, I can see there are almost 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, almost 12 different chart styles that are available for your pie chart here. So for example, let me try to choose one of the different chart styles here. For example, I've chosen the third one, where it shows the percentage of marks that you got. Like you got 40% on Excel, in Excel, and you've got 36% of the total marks in Microsoft Word, and you've got 24% of the marks in Microsoft PowerPoint. So the style actually helps you to visualize the data in like a different format. It just lets you to style your existing chart so that it's visually appealing for the users when they want to show the chart to different set of users, right? So your styles provides that kind of option. Let's see what are the other kind of styles that are available. There is one called one with like a blue background, but without any background for each of the legends inside, and the legends are pretty much displayed inside the pie chart rather than being shown somewhere on the outside like the previous one, right? So that's one of the options there. And you would also see another option to actually go and then change the color. So in case if you wish to change the style for the same color, style that you've chosen, you could go and then click on the colors tab, and then you can start defining the list, the color combinations that you actually need for your charts. That I could go and then choose any of the different color combinations, and those color combinations would be applied for my pie chart or whatever the chart that I'm using currently. So, and the same styling and the color options what you see currently is applicable across different types of chart. It's not just for the charts that you have currently selected, but it's for all the different types of charts. For example, if you got a bar chart, for example, and you wanted to apply let's look into that. So if I go and then select the change chart type, and then I go and then select bar, and then I pick and choose for example stacked bar as in one of the examples, and then I choose the stacked bar as an example, you'll see stacked bar being shown something like this. But now I can go and then choose the same color option for the stacked chart as well, and that would actually start showing each and every bar in the predefined color what you have chosen now, right? So that's more of applying the colors and styles for your charts within your Microsoft Excel. You'll also notice there is another button called chart filters, and what the chart filter does is it allows you to edit what data points and names that are visible on your chart. Let's see what are the options that are available with the chart filters. And when I click on the chart filters, you would see, yes, this is more of the one of the bar charts, and you will see there is a series called marks. Imagine that you have multiple columns which you want to display. For example, it could be marks, it could be the GPA, and so on. So you wanted to pick and choose the columns that needs to be chosen for series, and you could go and then select them. And you could also go ahead and then select the categories, or what kind of categories that needs to be shown on the chart. For example, currently it shows 3 items as a category. One is PowerPoint, Word, and Excel, all the 3 different subjects. You don't want to select all the 3 subjects, and if you want to select just, for example, a PowerPoint, for example, or Excel and Word, right, you go and then select them and click on apply, and immediately you should start seeing the filtered categories or filtered subjects within your charts now. So in this case, the PowerPoint has been completely removed, but you would see Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel are the only 2 columns, or only the 2 categories that has been filtered and shown on your stacked bar chart on within your Microsoft Excel. right? So that is more about the basics of what the charts and uh, visualization to start with within Microsoft Excel. Like I mentioned, your Microsoft Excel supports different kinds of charts, and let's start looking at some of the charts one by one to see how each one can be used and what are the differences and what are the different setting options that some of the charts in Excel has got. So let's look at the bar chart now. So what exactly is a bar chart, right? So bar chart is one of the chart types in Excel, which is people tend to call a bar chart to also as a bar graph, for example. And the bar chart helps you to display the distribution of the data, right? Also it helps in comparing and tracing change over period. So that's one of the advantages of having a bar chart, right? So if I go into this change chart type, for example, one of the easiest option for you to insert a bar chart into a new Excel sheet is go and then select the range of cells. And once you select the range of cells, all that you do is go and then select the bar chart option within your Excel charts group under the insert tab in the Microsoft Excel ribbon. So the other option is, since you have already got the chart being plotted on your Excel worksheet, the other easiest option for you to do it is go into the chart design and then click on the change chart type and then start exploring the chart type. The first thing that you're going to see on the top section is the bar chart gives you various subcategories of charts under this. So one of the subcategories is the clustered bar. Clustered bar is again like a simple representation of the bar chart. You would also see something called a stacked bar. You will see something called 100% stacked bar. You'll also see something called 3D cluster bar. You'll see something called 3D stacked bar. So the first three what you have seen is more like a 2D representation of the same bar chart, and the last few options are the 3D representation of the same chart whatever you have seen. For example, if I since previously we saw a stacked bar which is like in a 2D format, let me go ahead and then choose, for example, a 3D format. And when I click on the 3D format and when I click and choose one of the chart types, for example, and click on OK, you will see the same chart being displayed in a 3D format, right? Most of the other options what you saw previously with respect to a 2D chart remains exactly the same. For example, the chart styles or the changing of the colors for your charts and applying the filters for each of the charts, everything would remain the same, just that the same chart would be represented more in like a 3D format for you. That's the only difference that you're going to see between a 2D chart and a 3D chart from the list of options what you've seen. But ideally, when you see the list of the chart styles, you might see some variations. Maybe there are few other additional chart styles which might be applicable and which would be available for you to start using them, right? So that's more of the chart styles available for you, right? So that's more of the bar chart for you. Again, inserting a bar chart was pretty simple and straightforward, and it was pretty easy as well. But imagine any chart that you're using, irrespective of whether it's a bar chart or a stacked bar chart or whatever chart that you use, there would be some scenarios where you might wanted to switch the rows to column. For example, you might want it in a different format for the same chart, right? You will see something called the switch row or a column under the data group in the chart design tab, right? So what this does is let's try to click on that and see what is the outcome of that. You'll see the same chart being displayed in like a rows and columns, because the entire rows and column has been switched over for us than being shown in a different way. Yeah, so previously if you see all the PowerPoint, Word and Excel has been showed in like a column row approach. The same thing when you go and then use the switch row or a column, it just swaps the data over the axis. Like for example, the data being charted on the x-axis will now be moved into y-axis and vice versa, as and when you start clicking the toggle button and then changing that particular format. So if I click on this, you'll see the switch of the row and column been happening within your chart as well. So it's pretty simple and easy way again to go and then change the row from column and column to row within your Microsoft Excel. Right. The other option that you've got within all the charts, for example, is to select a data. For example, I click and click the select data option. So all that it does is it lets the users to go and then select the range of cells. For example, previously when we started building the chart, we just selected the range of cells and then we clicked on the recommended charts option, and then we let Excel go and then recommend our initial chart. But in case if you are in a situation where your data is a bit complicated and you don't want Excel to be recommending the default chart types, and if you wanted to choose yourself what kind of data that needs to be plotted and what needs to be addressed, so you could go and then choose the legend entries and horizontal axis labels what needs to be displayed for each of the chart sections for you. For example, imagine that let me go and then select a GP or for example GPA in this case. Yeah, imagine that someone has got 3.5 or someone has got 7, someone has got 6, 4, and someone has got 6, right? So now if I go and then click on the chart and go to the chart design and I choose select data, so now I'm going to change this entire thing into D4 rather than just sticking with C4. So now as soon as I enter D4, which means the entire marks is also selected along with GPA. So now if you look at the chart now, the same bar chart that was plotted previously also contains the CGPA, and it also contains the marks as well. So both of these data points have been plotted onto the chart now. So now you could go and then choose what kind of data that needs to be plotted on the Excel chart here. For example, there are two columns here. You can pick and choose whether I need to show marks or whether I need to show the GPA. So in this case, if I choose just marks to be displayed, and if I click on OK, so which means only marks would be shown in this case, right? And I could go and then select, edit, or remove any of the legend entries that I need to do using the add, edit, or remove option in case if you have more columns or rows to be shown. And I've also got the horizontal options where I can go and then show the axis labels. For example, now whatever we saw with the filter where we went and chosen the Word and Excel previously, I can go ahead and then choose the same thing and click on OK, right? It's going to show me the same option like what we saw with the these options here. If I click on rows, the filter also has two options here. One is values and other one is the names. For example, the row one can contain marks or GPA. I can pick just none, or I can pick any of these as well. So if I go and then pick and choose none, so which means that it's going to remove the marks and GPA from the entire row there. So but let me just bring it back, and then you'll see it's a kind of a title which has been shown. Yeah, marks is the one that we have already chosen only one data to be shown there, so that's the reason you'll see on the chart on the top you'll see just marks being shown on the series. Now if I don't want that to be shown, I can click on none and you won't see that marks being shown on the row one. That's on the first row. And the same thing applies for even the categories as well. For example, currently it shows all the categories which says column A which says Senthil and Senthil, column B which says Excel and Word. But if I choose none and if I click on apply, you will see that entire column which initially displayed all the columns to say Excel, Senthil, and Microsoft Word, even that is now hidden now. So you could hide or show the columns or the first column or the first row depending on your requirement to ensure that you have more visualization options within your Microsoft Excel. Right, so that covers more of the bar chart for us. Like I mentioned, bar chart is yet another chart types in Microsoft Excel. and it's also called as bar graph. And yeah, it helps you to display the distribution of data, and it also helps you to compare and trace data over a period of time. So that's what the bar chart within Microsoft Excel does for you, right? So the next set of chart what let's look at is the line chart, right? So what exactly is a line chart in Excel? The line chart is it is one of the primary chart types which is supported within Microsoft Excel. The line chart is also called as a run chart, or for example a line graph. People tend to use these terms frequently for the same line chart. People tend to call line graph, and some people tend to call it as run chart, but end of the day it still represents a line chart for us, right? So in this kind of chart types, each data series is denoted with a separate line, and the line charts are commonly used to track changes over period of time between two or more data series, right? So what kind of line charts that we would ideally look at? For example, let's see if this data can be represented with a line chart or not, right? So let's see if I can click on change chart type, and if I choose line chart here, right, you will see there are multiple options for the line charts for you. One is the default line chart, and other one is a stacked line, the third one is a 100% stacked line. All these three and one with a line with markers as well. So the first four different types of line charts what you see is like a pretty simple and straightforward ones, but you'll also see some complicated line chart like stacked line with markers, 100% stacked lines with markers as well, and finally you'll also have a 3D line chart as well. So there are plenty of line charts option that are available for you. Let's try to choose a simple line chart in this case for the first one, and see if the existing data is supported in the line chart or not, right? So currently what you see is line chart being displayed for each of the marks, but treat this to be like not an appropriate data that you might want to see. For example, a typical use case of using a line chart would be imagine that the student takes up multiple internal examination like internals 1, internals 2, internals 3, and the student takes up a mid-sem exam and then a final semester exam, right? And you wanted to track the progress of the student, and you in a chart format to see how the progress has been for the students across different period of time from the internals 1, 2, 3 to mid-sem to final examination. That would be one of the use case of using the line chart for us, right, where you could see the progress, and the progress could be across different period of time, right, with 2 or more series. So but in this case what I've tried to show you a demo is to just use a subject as an example, and then just plot the line chart to see how the line chart would look like. For example, the first time the user has got for example 75, and the second time the user has got for example with the Microsoft Word the user has got 67 as an example, right? So this could be assuming that this would be like over a series of period of time is when these marks were calculated. It's same as the previous one, but the same chart has been represented in a line chart for us, and this tells you the progress of the students marks from different subjects. For example, in one of the subjects he's got more marks, and the next time in one of the subjects he's got less marks here, right? So that's more of the line chart here. So now what other options that we have got within the line chart now? So let me go and then pick and choose the same chart type, and let's see how the other types of line charts would look like. For example, if I choose stacked line chart, let's see how the stacked line chart would look like. You'll see there is not much difference here with the stacked line chart because of the variation of data that we have got, but let me choose something else. For example, a 3D format now, right? Again, like I mentioned, the 3D format is just exactly the same thing as the 2D format, but just it's been represented in a 3D format with a different visualization. So in case if you are one of the users who wanted to see the data in like a 3D format, and that's what your preferred mechanism is, go ahead and then use the 3D format within your line charts, for example. So that's one of the options for you, right? So the next chart what I would show is, for example, pie chart. Pie chart is something that we saw initially just as a simple example, but let's see what is the uses or the use case of a pie chart, right? So pie chart type is one of the again a primitive chart types in Microsoft Excel, right? And when your total number of data is 100%, and you tend to use pie charts as an example in those cases, right? So that you can at least see the proportion of data of the whole within the entire pie chart, and each slice of a pie chart denotes the size of the percentage of the whole pie. For example, imagine that all these three subjects are being taken in the same exam, for example, right? And the user has got 75, 67 and 45 out of 300. When you sum up all the marks, that's the total number of marks that you will be getting, and you wanted to find out what is the percentage or a slice of each and every subject marks that the user has got. So these are on proper use case of using pie chart. For example, I can go and then choose the chart type. In this case, like how we selected previously, I can go and then select the pie chart, but this time rather than me selecting the standard pie chart, I would go and then choose the donut chart. In this case, donut is also one of the subcategories of the pie chart, which exactly replicates the same functionality of what a basic pie chart would show the data to the user, but in a completely different format and a visualization altogether. So let me select this, and if I click on OK, you would see the pie chart being shown with each slice representing one in an one for subject 1 and one for the subject 2. The reason why it shows up only two subjects is because we have applied the filter on the values, because I've chosen only the first two ones. I'm going to just select the second one and click on apply. So now you should start seeing all three different formats of the data as well. So this covers the pie chart for us, right? Again, another chart type which is pretty simple and easy to use, but the other option, in case if you want to create a chart completely from scratch, the pie chart, all that you would be doing is select the range of rows, navigate to the charts section under the insert tab, and then choose the pie charts from the list of these options. When you click on the more pie chart link, it just gives you multiple options of what are the other types of charts that you can actually go ahead and then create them, right? So that covers more of the pie chart. Yeah, with the pie chart as well, if you navigate to the chart design, you would see plenty of other design options available for you, but like previously what we saw like 12 different types of chart styles now, but now you'll see only 10 different chart styles for this specific chart for the donut charts. But yeah, in case if you want to create your own styling for the charts, you'll be able to do that as well without any issues at all. So for example, now for our chart, I'm going to choose for example the third this one, the one with like a black background, so that should start showing up the data for you, right? And you will also see an option of displaying various chart elements when you want to customize the entire look and feel of the chart. For example, if I click on add chart element, and you'll see I have an option of either going and choosing my chart title. I have an option of choosing data labels. If you're using a data table or a different kind of chart, for example lines or a trend line or a bar chart, you've got various other options as well depending on the kind of chart that you want to use, right? For example, if I wanted to display the legend, currently the legend, it shows up as a bottom, and if you want to show the legend somewhere on right side, right, I can go and then choose the right as an option. If you want to show the legend on the top, you can choose this. If you want to show the legend on the left, so you have various options of showing up legends within your Excel sheet, whether you want to show on the left, right, top, or a bottom, right? The other one is the data label itself. For example, if you want to show the data label, or you wanted to do the data label call out, or you wanted to not show the data label at all, you could use the data labels option in order to achieve that piece for you, right? So that's one of the another option that you've got to represent this piece for you, right? And finally, you'll also see the chart title. See what the chart title says is you want to either show the chart title either on the above the chart, or either you want to show on a centralized, or you don't want to show the chart title as. In this case, the chart title was like it was showing up as marks there, and that's what we are mainly concerned about, whether you want to hide it or whether you want to show it within your Excel chart section within the worksheet. And the final option that you're going to see is a quick layout. If you want to quickly change the layout of from the predefined set without changing the style and the color, just the layout structure, an easiest option for you is to use the quick layout section under the chart layout. Go and then choose whichever you prefer, and then immediately you see that the layout being applied for your charts as well, right? So that's more of the a pie chart and some of the additional options that you've got within the pie chart for you within your Excel sheet. And so the next one, let's move on to next couple of charts quickly before we run out of the time. So the one of the other charts that we're going to see is the column chart in Excel. What exactly is a column chart? It is also another primary chart for us in Microsoft Excel. It displays the data values with vertical columns and categories along horizontal styling, right? It provides a comparison of the set of values in a more visualized format, and also helps us to know the developments between two or more data values. It is an excellent way for us to show change over time. It also works in line with the line chart, but the column chart works more like shows up in like a bar kind of data, but you could also use it to display how the values change over time as well, right? To show a bar chart, or probably to change the chart type, click on change chart type. You will see a column as an option here, as the first column type. And again, the column charts also contains various subcategories there. One is it shows up in clustered column, stacked column, 100% stacked column. You got 3D clustered column, and the same columns whatever you saw previously, which is in a 2D format, the same thing has been represented in a 3D format. For example, let me select the first one to see how the clustered column would look like, and click on OK, and you'll see the same marks whatever we have seen with respect to the one that has been shown in the pie chart. The same chart is being displayed in column chart for us now, where each bar or look each column represents each subject, with marks being displayed for the progress of the bar as well, right? So, and if you want to display the same thing in like a 3D format, just click on change chart type, and then just choose one of the 3D columns, whether you want to show it in like a second format or the first format. Just go ahead and then choose them and click on OK, and you'll see the same representation of the data in more of a 2D format. I can go and then choose how the 2D format colors would look like from the default one, and yeah, you got multiple options in this case to represent the same 2D charts into a 3D chart as well, right? So that's more of the column charts for us, where column chart just helps us with the comparison of the set of values. And there are plenty of other charts available. So the some of the other different types of charts that you want to see, like you see is like a surface one, you see stock, you see radar, you see tree map. I would recommend each one of you to go and then give a try, play around with different types of charts as a part of your practice and assignments, so that you'll be well versed with different visualization options that are available within Microsoft Excel for you. So this covers our charts and visualization option for us. So I hope the session was useful for everyone. Like I mentioned previously, feel free to go ahead and then take up all the other pending assignments that are part of this particular training program. So I think a lot of people have finished taking up the first 4 assignments. There are another 4 assignments again. All are very simple and straightforward ones, and everything is based on what topics that we have covered. All that you need to do is just follow the instructions what is provided step by step, and then go ahead and then upload your assignments into the website. And once you're done, go ahead and then take up the Excel multiple choice questions, clear them off, and once you have cleared, I'll know the progress of every student, and the entire list would be passed on to your college department, and your college would actually go ahead and then provide you the certificates, provided if you have submitted all the assignments and have cleared the multiple choice questions as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop out an email, or probably I'll wait for a few more minutes to see the chat window to see if anyone has got any questions or not. If there is no questions and exactly from 5 minutes, then probably we'll sign off for the day. Okay, looks like there are no questions until now. So in case if you have any questions, feel free to just drop out an email to me, or you could also go into the dedicated forum inside the course section, and then start posting your question, and I'll be happy to answer it as and when I start looking into them. Yep, perfect. So this covers our session today, and thanks for attending the final session of this training program, and I hope the session was very helpful. I would also be sending out an email with list of other materials and tutorials that you people can start looking into it for this week and next week, to help you with completing the assignments as well as the multiple choice questions. And yeah, signing off for the day, and then see you all. Bye.